Welcome to the CA Detector for DB2 for ZOS Demo for New Users video. This video is for database administrators and other users who want to understand the basic operation of CA Detector and assumes that you understand DB2 concepts and terminology. This video is provided in addition to the CA Detector documentation that is available from ca.com. We refer to the product as CA Detector throughout this video. CA Detector for DB2 for ZOS can help you evaluate application performance by collecting metrics on SQL activity and resource usage. You can view metrics while data is collected or later if the data is externalized to a data store. Data can be grouped by application, plan, or program by selecting the available screen options. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to create a data store, start data collection, view standard activity data, stop data collection, and view historical data. When you run data collection with CA Detector, SQL activity on the subsystem is collected on an interval basis. A typical collection interval is 1 hour. You can view metrics for the current interval. However, when the interval completes and a new interval begins, data from the previous interval is lost unless you externalize the data. In this section, we'll create a data store for the data that we will externalize. The main menu appears when you start CA Detector. We'll refer to this menu throughout the video. To start creating a data store, we'll type 7 at the option prompt. The Create Data Store display appears. This screen contains the main data store options that we'll select. First, we'll enter the subsystem ID, high-level qualifier, and data store name. Next, we'll enter the maximum number of intervals to be stored and specify that datasets to store Exception SQL and SQL errors will not be created. We will not be viewing Exception SQL and SQL errors in this video. We'll enter N for the Batch JCL option. Batch JCL is also not included in this demo. Note that you can press F1 in any screen to view field or option descriptions. We'll press Enter to go to the next panel of data store options. The standard activity collection dataset properties screen appears with the dataset allocation criteria. We'll enter tracks as a space allocation unit and then enter 30 for primary and 20 for secondary space. We'll then press Enter to create the data store. Note that information about the dataset space requirements can be found in the product documentation. A message appears stating that the data store has been successfully created and initialized. We'll make a note of the high-level qualifier and data store name. We'll need those values when we start data collection in the next section. During data collection, metrics for SQL activity on the specified subsystem are captured according to the collection options that you select. In this section, we'll specify collection options and then start data collection. We'll press F3 until we return to the main menu. To initiate data collection, we'll type 5 at the option prompt and press Enter. The Start Collection display appears with the first panel of collection options. We'll enter the interval time and the time limit for the collection. Next, we'll specify N for the round interval option and specify N for the use sysplex interval time. We'll also specify Y to externalize data and enter the data store information that we noted earlier. Finally, we'll enter Y for the auto start option so that if DB2 becomes unavailable, collection will restart when DB2 becomes available again. As we mentioned previously, you can press F1 in any screen to view field or option descriptions. We'll now press Enter to go to the next panel of collection options. The second panel of collection options appears, letting you select the types of SQL data to collect and the collection profile to use. We'll enter Y for standard activity and enter N for all other options. Notice that many options require a collection profile. A collection profile lets you tailor the types of data that is collected by specifying exception thresholds, application groups, additional keys to collect, and other criteria. We will not use a collection profile for this demo. However, collection profile setup instructions can be found in the product documentation. We'll now press Enter to start data collection. We are returned to the first panel of collection options, and a message appears stating the collection started successfully. CA Detector is now collecting SQL data on subsystem D99Z. Note that multiple users can start collections on multiple subsystems, but only one collection can run on a subsystem. In this section, we'll show the standard SQL activity displays for the current collection interval. After we return to the main menu, we'll progress through the standard activity screen levels, beginning with the plan name summary display, which shows the active plans for the interval. The plan program display shows the programs that are running within the selected plan. The plan SQL display shows the SQL call activity and resource information for the selected program. The SQL call text display shows the SQL call text for the selected statement. We'll press F3 until we return to the main menu. To view data for the current interval, we'll type 1 at the option prompt and press Enter. The plan name summary display appears, showing metrics for the plans that are active during the interval. You can view additional metrics on screens that contain them using the scroll keys. Note the view type options. When this screen first appears, standard activity data is displayed. You can also view objects or historical data. However, you can only view exceptions and errors when you collect that data. Also note the view by options. When the screen first appears, metrics are grouped by plan name. You can also view metrics grouped by program, SQL, dynamic SQL, profile, or keys. You can use the line commands in the data section to view additional data for a plan, such as programs that were executed, dynamic SQL that was executed, related keys, and active threads. The detail line command displays the metrics for the selected plan in report format. Depending on the collection options and the view by option selected, the history option displays previous intervals for the selected row if data is externalized during collection. Note the other displays may have different line commands. We'll type S in the line command field for plan name RAPBD190 and press Enter to display the next level of data. The plan program display appears, showing metrics for the programs that ran within the plan. This lets you analyze resource use from a program point of view. In many displays, the commonly used metrics are shown when the screen first appears. You can scroll right to see more data, or use the detail line command to view the data in report format. In this display, line commands for a program let you progress through the screens to view the SQL statements or dynamic SQL executed by the program. The Explain option invokes the Quick Explain component of CA Plan Analyzer for DB2 for ZOS to evaluate access path information. See the CA Plan Analyzer documentation for more information. We'll type S in the line command field for the first program listed and press Enter to view SQL call activity. The Plan SQL display appears, showing the SQL call activity and resource information originating from the selected program. In this example, there was only one call. We'll type Q in the line command field next to Select and press Enter to view the SQL call text. The SQL call text display appears, showing the SQL call text for the select statement. We'll now stop data collection. We press F3 to return to the main menu. We'll enter 6 in the option field and press Enter twice to stop data collection. A message appears indicating that data collection has stopped. In the next section, we'll look at historical data using an existing data store. In this section, we'll show the standard activity displays for a historical collection interval. We'll press F3 until we return to the main menu. We'll then progress through the historical standard activity screen levels. Note that we could follow the same path through the screens as we did while we collected data. Instead, we'll use the data store display to select a different data store that contains the historical data that we are interested in. We'll then select an interval in the data store interval display. The plan name summary display shows the plans that ran during the interval. The plan dynamic SQL display shows the dynamic SQL that ran under the plan. And the dynamic SQL call text display shows the dynamic SQL call text for the select statement. To view historical interval data, we'll type 2 at the option prompt. The detector data store display appears, showing the data stores for the subsystem ID. We'll type S in the line command field for the mstore data store and press Enter to view the intervals in that data store. Note that data stores are compatible between product releases. Details about data store compatibility can be found in the product documentation. The data store interval display appears, showing the standard collection intervals in the data store that we selected. Note that this example shows only the first screen of intervals, and you can scroll down to see more. We'll type S in the line command field for the last interval shown and press Enter to view the plan name summary display. The plan name summary display appears, showing the metrics for the active plans for the interval that we selected. We could type S in the line command field for a plan and follow the same screen sequence that we viewed during collection. Instead, we'll type Q in the line command field for the third plan and press Enter to view the dynamic SQL for that plan. The plan dynamic SQL display appears, showing dynamic SQL for the selected plan. You can scroll right to view additional metrics, or enter D in the line command field for an SQL text statement to view the metrics in report format. You can also use the eLine command to invoke the Quick Explain component of CA Plan Analyzer for DB2 for ZOS, as mentioned previously. Note that to view tables and indexes, you must run a CA subsystem analyzer for DB2 for ZOS collection that is synchronized with CA Detector collection. We'll type Q in the line command field for the select statement and press Enter to view the full dynamic SQL statement. The dynamic SQL call text display appears, showing all the text for the select statement, which can help you diagnose performance problems. This concludes the CA Detector for DB2 for ZOS demo. In this video, we have demonstrated how to create a data store, start data collection, view standard activity data, stop data collection, and view historical data. Thank you for viewing this video. For more detailed information about CA Detector for DB2 for ZOS, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there you can go to the product documentation, visit the CA communities, or see the learning path.